Nuclear weapons changed the world. They brought unprecedented destructive power. This power hangs over humanity. The threat of nuclear conflict is a dark cloud. We must confront this uncomfortable truth. Ignoring the danger is not an option. Understanding the risks is crucial. We must work together to prevent a catastrophe. This is not a problem for scientists and politicians alone. It is everyone's responsibility. The future of our species is at stake. We must all be informed and engaged. The Cold War was a time of great tension. The United States and the Soviet Union possessed vast nuclear arsenals. Both sides came perilously close to nuclear war. The Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962 was a stark reminder of the danger. The world held its breath. Diplomacy ultimately prevailed, but the lesson was clear. Nuclear brinkmanship is reckless and unacceptable. Even after the Cold War, the threat remained. Accidental launches, miscalculations, and misunderstandings are all too possible. Nuclear weapons are not abstract threats, they are real and present dangers. Today, several regions present potential flashpoints. North Korea's nuclear ambitions raise serious concerns. Tensions in the Middle East and South Asia remain high. The rise of nationalism and militarism adds fuel to the fire. Cyber warfare adds a new dimension to the threat. A successful cyber attack could cripple critical infrastructure. This could lead to escalation and even nuclear conflict. The interconnectedness of the modern world creates new vulnerabilities. The potential consequences of nuclear conflict are too horrific to contemplate. We must work tirelessly to prevent such a catastrophe. The time for action is now. Nuclear war would be devastating, cities would be vaporized, millions would die instantly, radiation would poison the air, water, and soil. The long-term effects would be catastrophic. A nuclear winter could follow a large-scale nuclear war. Smoke and dust would block out the sun, temperatures would plummet, crops would fail, global famine would ensue. The human cost is impossible to calculate, the suffering would be unimaginable. The very survival of our species would be in jeopardy. Section 5. Can we survive a nuclear attack? This question has haunted humanity since the dawn of the nuclear age. Some argue that survival is possible, pointing to various strategies and preparations. They highlight the importance of fallout shelters and emergency preparedness, emphasizing stockpiling essential supplies. However, these measures offer little solace when faced with the sheer devastation caused by a nuclear explosion. Simulations show that no amount of preparation can fully protect us from the full horror of a nuclear attack. Moreover, the psychological impact on survivors would be profound, affecting mental health for generations. The trauma of such an event would leave lasting scars, both visible and invisible, on those who managed to survive. The fabric of society would be torn apart, leading to chaos and anarchy in the aftermath. The world as we know it would cease to exist, replaced by a post-apocalyptic landscape. Experts continue to debate the effectiveness of survival strategies, but the consensus is grim. Prevention is the only rational course of action. International leaders must prioritize diplomatic efforts. We must eliminate the threat of nuclear war before it eliminates us. Global cooperation and disarmament are essential for our survival. Section 6. The art of diplomacy. Diplomacy is an intricate dance, a delicate balance of power, persuasion, and patience. It is the art of navigating complex international waters to achieve peace and stability. Diplomacy is our best hope. It is the bridge that connects divided nations, the tool that can dismantle the most dangerous weapons, and the voice of reason in a world often driven by conflict. We must engage in dialogue even with our adversaries. Open communication is essential to understanding each other's perspectives and finding common ground. It is through dialogue that we can address misunderstandings and build a foundation for peace. We must build trust and understanding. Trust is not easily earned, especially among nations with a history of conflict. It requires consistent effort, transparency, and a willingness to listen and learn from one another. We must find common ground and work towards shared goals. The threat of nuclear proliferation is a global issue that requires a unified response. By working together, we can create a safer world for future generations. International organizations like the United Nations play a vital role. They provide a platform for nations to come together, discuss their differences, and work towards collective security. They provide a forum for discussion and cooperation. These discussions are crucial for drafting and implementing treaties that can limit the spread of nuclear weapons and promote disarmament. They help to mediate disputes and prevent conflict. Mediation is a key component of diplomacy, offering a neutral ground where conflicting parties can negotiate and resolve their differences peacefully. We must strengthen these institutions and support their work. Their efforts are essential in maintaining global peace and security, and they need our backing to continue their vital missions. Diplomacy is not a sign of weakness. It is a strategic approach that requires intelligence, foresight, and a deep understanding of international relations. It is a sign of strength and wisdom. A strong diplomatic stance shows the world that we are committed to peace and willing to take the necessary steps to achieve it. It requires courage, patience, and a willingness to compromise. Negotiating nuclear agreements is a complex and often lengthy process, but it is essential for reducing the threat of nuclear war. But it is the only path to a safer and more peaceful world. Through diplomacy, we can build a future where nations coexist peacefully, free from the fear of nuclear annihilation. Section 7, Global Cooperation, a necessity. Nuclear weapons are a global threat. No nation can solve this problem alone. We must work together to reduce nuclear arsenals and prevent proliferation. The Non-Proliferation Treaty, or NPT, is a cornerstone of these efforts. It seeks to prevent the spread of nuclear weapons and promote disarmament. All nations must abide by its provisions and work towards its goals. Global cooperation is essential. We must share information, technology, and resources. We must build a global security architecture that benefits all nations. Section 8, Disarmament, a distant dream. Some argue that disarmament is unrealistic. They point to the persistence of nuclear weapons and the difficulty of verification. But we cannot afford to give up on this goal. Every step towards disarmament is a step in the right direction. We must continue to pursue arms control agreements and reduce nuclear stockpiles. We must create a world free from the threat of nuclear war. This is a long-term goal. It will require sustained effort and political will, but it is a goal worth fighting for. The future of humanity may depend on it. Section 9, our role in preventing catastrophe. In a world where the threat of nuclear weapons looms large, it is imperative that we take action. We all have a role to play. Each one of us can contribute to a safer world. We can educate ourselves and others about the dangers of nuclear weapons. Knowledge is power, and by spreading awareness, we can build a collective understanding of the risks involved. We can support organizations working for peace and disarmament. These groups are on the front lines, tirelessly advocating for a world free from the threat of nuclear annihilation. We can demand action from our leaders. Our voices matter by participating in protests, signing petitions, and voting for leaders who prioritize disarmament. We can push for meaningful change. Public opinion can influence government policy. When the masses speak out, governments are compelled to listen and act accordingly. We must make it clear that we will not tolerate the threat of nuclear war. Our collective stance against such threats can create a powerful force for change. We must demand a safer and more peaceful world for ourselves and future generations. Every act of courage, every word spoken, every petition signed, and every rally attended, every effort made brings us closer to a world without nuclear weapons. Global efforts are essential, and by uniting across borders, we can amplify our impact. We must never give up hope. Hope is the driving force that keeps us moving forward. Even in the face of adversity, we must never stop striving for peace. Our commitment to non-violence and disarmament is crucial in building a future where nuclear weapons are a relic of the past. Section 10. Choosing hope over fear. The threat of nuclear war is real, but we cannot afford to succumb to fear. Fear paralyzes us. It prevents us from taking action. We must choose hope over fear. Hope gives us the strength to keep going. It inspires us to work for a better future. It reminds us that change is possible. We have the power to prevent nuclear war. We have the power to create a more peaceful and just world. The choice is ours. Let us choose wisely. Let us choose hope. Let us choose life.
So hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, and let's turn the page on a new adventure together. Get ready to experience books like never before, only on VBook 360. Like, comment, and share to support the channel and keep the video magic alive. Thank you for stopping by. And remember, every video has a story, and every story deserves to be shared. See you in the next video.